What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and I've already shown you 3 versions of the Samsung Galaxy S8 clone version. Today I'm going to show you a 4th, the best yet, with a real infinity display. They started off completely not matching the design, then trying to replicate the display and not succeeding, and now with the 4th iteration, it's their best yet. So here it is. Is it kind of weird that I'm very excited to open it up and see what's inside? I'm curious their take on the infinity display, how it works. All right, let's get this bad boy opened. It took them 4 revisions to get it right. All right, so get right in here. I wonder if the packaging changed too. This must be their ultimate clone. I mean, why would they make a 5th version already, unless it's gonna be faster? Ooh, they got the new lettering in. So straight from the get-go, just so you know, it is very hard to tell just from the packaging that this thing is a fake. They copied it completely. The color of the actual black isn't as dark as the original one, but if you're just holding this alone, it's very hard to tell. It's just, I don't know. It's really, really good. That's what's surprising. So it's going to be hard to tell without it opened. Anyways, let's get in here, unbox this guy. And of course, once we turn the product on, there will be many tells as to why it's fake. All right, sliding this out. Yeah, so it's got a very paper feel to it. The official one feels more of like a hard cardboard almost. Okay, this one, it feels definitely much better than the one inside. And wow, it's even got the same mechanism from the side. Cool. Galaxy S8 Plus Edge. Ooh, there it is again with their ridiculous plastic stickers up here. It is not called the S8 Plus Edge, and Samsung sure as heck does not have this kind of graphic art. This looks terrible. All right, first sign, look at the packaging. It doesn't even fit inside of this properly. So I guess one way you can tell that this isn't a real one, if you shake the box and it's loose inside. So there it is, there's the tell. If you guys are gonna be buying one of these, it's sealed, just shake it. If you notice it's really, really loose inside, that means it's definitely, just ask them on the spot, can I open it? But all right, there it is. Wow, feels very solid. It's very slim, surprisingly. All right, let's peel this guy off. And there is their version of the infinity display. So we're gonna take a closer look here, but wow, it looks good. Very, very good for a clone. For the same price tag, it's gonna be hard to tell for a lot of people, honestly. I've got the power button on the side here. Let me go ahead and get my S8 Plus to compare. All right, so I will definitely tell you one thing. This does not compete with an S8 Plus. It's much smaller than it, not as tall, not as wide, but it does match up with the Galaxy S8. So the S8 Plus is false advertising on their part. This is with the regular S8. Obviously, it is a little bit chunkier here, just a tad bit taller and wider. But if you're just holding that device, it's going to be hard to tell. Perfectly right there. The button's a little bit wider, taller itself. Perfect placement of the SIM card. Even the Bixby button is available right there. On the bottom, you can see they've got all the ports figured out, the speaker, grills, everything looks like it is a perfect replacement. It even has USB-C. So as you can see, it looks very similar. Now on the back, let's take this sticker off. They always have these weird ones like Olympics and Batman and stuff. So get that off. Ooh, that looks so much better. Look at how clean they made it. They don't have those ridiculous logos now, so that alone makes it look much cleaner than the last version. As you can see, the camera sensors look pretty good. They made this one all black inside, so definitely looks like a little bit better. Got a fingerprint sensor here. We're gonna have to see if that works, but feels solid. Definitely more solid than the last version. It doesn't say Galaxy S8 on the back though for some reason. All right, let's go ahead and boot it up and see what the software is like and this magical infinity display. I can see that the bezels are a bit chunkier on the bottom. And there it goes, Galaxy S8 Plus. So I'm personally thinking that they have a perfectly square display underneath, and they kind of just put a little bit more bezel up top and on the bottom to cover that and curved it. Either way though, it's a good illusion if that's the case. So I'll open it up and take a look, but I doubt that this is an organic LED display that's capable of doing that. Wow, that looks really good. For a $90 clone that I bought, that looks very, very good. So compared to the original here, it has a little bit more bezel, as you can see, but that's just like 1.5 millimeters. It's not that off, surprisingly. A very interesting detail I noticed is that they actually copied the iris sensors up top here. So you can see that they have a couple little sensors. They probably don't do much, or anything at all for that matter. It's those little details that they copied that surprised me. So there is that display, very, very similar. They have the same operation now for a swipe up to get into the apps, which I think is really cool. I went to set up the Wi-Fi, noticed it's actually quite speedy. So the processor, whatever it is, it can handle a lot of the basic UI elements, loading them. I was surprised. Inside, they've got the very same menu for the settings. As you can see, man, this display looks reddish on mine. That problem compared to it, this one's like blue, but same icons. Very surprised. Attention to detail here is very good. The Bixby interface itself is very similar. As you can see, the bottom buttons, one for one copy here. The display doesn't get as bright and it's not as crisp, that's for sure. Up here in this status area, you've got that interface. For some reason, I can't drag it down further. You gotta click it, but it's very similar look there as well. So let's go ahead and see what version this thing is running. Obviously, it's probably not running 7.0, though it might be. Oh, interesting. It actually is running Android 7.0. That's surprising. Usually I get them with Android 5 or 6, so this is probably the most sophisticated clone I have seen yet. Let's go ahead and get some official numbers on it. I'm going to download some benchmark applications so we can actually see what this thing is packing. And this thing actually has really, really slow Wi-Fi. When I was even hooking it up to my original network, it wouldn't find the 5G version, the 5 gigahertz version. So something's not right with that Wi-Fi chip. It's kind of slow. But I also wanted to show you guys that this thing does have an always-on display. So if I turn both of these off, look at that, they copied that as well. You've got the button here. Of course, it's not touch sensitive, but it will activate when pressed normally. It also does have an iris unlock, which is, of course, just using the cameras as always. Here's the fingerprint. Apparently it does work, but here we go. 1, 2, 3, touch, 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 Yeah, usually the real one isn't that accurate that fast. So now that we've got that set up, let's see how it works. With this finger, unlocked it. Let's try it with the back of my hand. Yep, not a real fingerprint sensor unless I've got a perfect replica that's over here. Funny, so that one's not real. All right, let's go to those numbers. This better not say something ridiculous like Snapdragon 835. And hey, look at that, Snapdragon 835 in my $90 clone. I totally believe that one. So Samsung Galaxy S8, they've got the model number spoofed in there as well, Android 7.0, 32-bit. That for sure eliminates the possibility that the 835 is in this thing. The display 1440 by 2560. I don't think I believe that, although it could be possible. Got 4 gigabytes of RAM, no, 2 gigabytes actually, with only less than 1 available. And okay, let's go ahead and get that test number here. All right, so we got on the original 165,000, ooh, and 23,284 on the replica. Certainly not a Snapdragon processor. And let's go ahead and get the Geekbench in here as well. That's so funny, it says it's 3 gigahertz. Wow, really? I legitimately don't think I've ever seen a device take this long to run a Geekbench. It has been 10 to 15 minutes already. Still loading. Wow, and no wonder this took like 30 minutes to run. That is the most pitiful Geekbench I've ever seen running on a device. At least it has Android 7.0. How this powers that, no idea. So the original one, 6 times the multi-core score and about 4 times the single core score. So what an awful and a slow processor they use in this, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is it's gonna fool people that don't know any better with this display. Now, the one thing I actually did notice is, I'm gonna zoom in for you. If you actually look in the very, very corner, you can see that the display reaches beyond that bezel. So they literally just covered it with the little vinyl. So it took me a little while to see that. Probably not gonna be able to see it through the camera, but it's a very neat illusion. All right, so let's go ahead and test the camera modules. As per the specs from this guy, it's a supposedly 12 megapixels. The interface here is a little bit different. And let's go ahead and see how these sensors compare. All right, so here is that video quality. Right off the bat, comparing to the Galaxy S8, I can see the colors are so washed out. It's ridiculously gray here. Not sure why that's so dull. It seems like it has like a filter over the camera that just reduces the quality or the colors to nothing. Obviously no optical image stabilization, so very unstable and jittery here. The detail, oof, so bad, honestly.
Far from a 12 megapixel camera, I will tell you that.
So after that harrowing experience with the camera, I just want to see what's underneath here, what they got going for internals. So this one's definitely on there a little bit more snugly. This is no good way to take this off, certainly for a glass back. It would have shattered the moment I try to pry it off. All right, there it is. So it's a little bit different, more adhesive, plastic clips for guidelines, but overall I think very, very similar to the last one. Ribbon cable, pretty big battery here. Internals are a lot tidier. They're using a different quality of silicon here. So it's higher quality than earlier models. And I see that there is a thick, very thick metal border, giving this a lot of heft. Feeling of quality, apparently. Just very sloppy battery connections here, but there it is for the internals. All right, guys, so there it is. There is the new Galaxy S8 clone. I mean, for somebody that doesn't know much about them, that hasn't used them before, it's very, very easy to fool. They've definitely upped the quality. Everything is 1-to-1. Of course, unless you've held this, you know, it's a little bit thinner. Just a couple little tells like that, but the display definitely is a huge improvement over the old one. It's slow as heck, cheap. But for scamming purposes, I guess it works. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just surprised at how far the clone manufacturers are willing to go to replicate the official product. All right, peace.